Hello, my name's Xanthi Claire and I'm a food columnist here at the Telegraph. And this evening I'm going to be joined by Claire Thomson, aka Instagrammer at 5 o'clock apron, for a fun evening, that you can get the kids involved with, which is brilliant with school holidays coming up. Claire will be demonstrating how to make her jolly gingerbread robins. That can also be Christmas tree decorations with the help of her daughters, Ivy and Dot. And so without further ado, I would like to welcome Claire and her daughters, Ivy and Dot.
Hi.
Hi, great to see you.
Thank you. Brilliant. Yeah, hi. This is Dot, this is Ivy.
Brilliant. And we got loads of people joining to talk to you from the Hudson Valley, from Yorkshire, from Surbiton, from Cambridgeshire, from the Netherlands. Sue from the Cotswolds, who's your old neighbour in Bristol. So all sorts of lovely people. Oh, from Rome, Teresa from Rome, fantastic. Richard from New York, Colin from Canada. So it's a really international bunch. So talk to us about what you're going to be demonstrating today.
Well, we're going to make gingerbread, which basically throughout December we always have in the fridge because it's just a great dough to make biscuits as you need throughout the week. You know, endless class parties, festive shindigs, whatever. So I always think having a good round of gingerbread in the fridge is good, and then just rolling them to go, really. So we've been making these little gingerbread robins. The girls watched the, what was it called, the film that you watched last week? Robin. The girls watched that last week, and there's a sweet little Robin in the new Aardman film for Christmas. So we've been making that, really. And so I'm going to show you how to make the dough. So into the mixer, we've got some flour here, 350 of plain flour into there. We're going to talk about a little bit about spices. So I really like having a good varied spice cupboard at home with the kids, and I've always sort of talked to them about the flavors that we're using in cooking, and I think that really sort of brings sort of flavor and sort of interest to cooking for kids. So I reckon these spices, it's called gingerbread, but hey, you know, I think ginger's good, of course, dried ginger. So I'm going to go quite generous on that, about 2 teaspoons of dried ginger. Then we've got cinnamon, I think a good teaspoon of cinnamon. Do you know what that one is, Dot?
Ground clove.
Have a smell. So that's a really Christmassy spice, but it's quite pungent. So pinch of clove, and that is allspice, which is like those dried berry things, which I would go half a teaspoon of that. Lovely. So you don't have to use all those spices. You can just use what you feel comfortable with, but it's gingerbread, and more, I would say. So whatever you've got that you like the smell of and reminds you of Christmas, put it in the dough. And then we've got some butter here. In goes the butter. 125 grams of cold butter. And a pinch of salt. And then we're going to go scant with the bicarb, because this will puff the gingerbread dough up. And you don't want it to puff too much because you want the hole that we're going to punch out to stay. So it says a teaspoon in the recipe, but I would even be a bit less, maybe quarter or a half. Then you're going to do the age-old thing that all recipes say at this point, which is, I've never really understood, make the flour and the bread like breadcrumbs, but it doesn't look like breadcrumbs. It looks more like sort of oats, I think. So we're going to do that. There we go. How are we doing? And then look at that. So till they go sort of like that, then Ivy, throw that sugar in there, which is 150 grams of soft brown sugar. Oh, let's just chuck it in, sweetie. There we go. Oh, you can smell it already, can't you? Right, pulse again, Dot. That's perfect. Right, Ivy, crack an egg into this. Make sure you don't get any shell. 1 egg. And then we're going to do golden syrup, Dot, which you hate, don't you? No. Dot is quite...
I've just got a quick question here for you. It's a very good one from Clifford, asking what blade do you have in the Magimix to make that kind of, to get that texture right?
This is a KitchenAid, and it's just I don't know what the blade is called. It's the one that's got one sort of blade and then another blade below it. Just a normal sort of
normal chopping blade then.
Yeah. I mean, it always says breadcrumbs, but it never goes to breadcrumbs. It looks more sort of like a sort of sandy dust, doesn't it, really? So into there, the egg goes in there, and then 3 tablespoons. I mean, it's just a nightmare measuring golden syrup because it's pretty much impossible. So I would say that is 3 tablespoons, really. Whoa. Okay, lid goes on, and then you're just going to bring this together until the base of the mixer starts becoming a dough. I'd go on 2. I'd go on 2. Yeah, fine, keep going. Then let's have a bit of a scrape down. These guys are just eating the golden syrup neat. It's fine. Right. I've just got a little KitchenAid here. You can get away with doing this in a blender, but you might need to scrape it down every now and then a bit. And you see it's coming together now. The bottom is coming together beautifully. So just scrape it down and get that going in a bit more.
So yeah, it's basically just any food processor will do the trick, won't it? I mean, I've got one here which is just like a hand mixer version. That's fine. Just checking. Emma.
Yep.
Yeah. Emma was just asking if it's a metal or a plastic blade. Is it the normal metal blade you're using?
Blade, yeah, metal blade. You just want to work it. I'll see.
And oh, Claire has made a very good point that if you dip your spoon in olive oil first, then the golden syrup or treacle will just run straight off. Or what I sometimes do is dip it in boiling water. If you dip it in boiling water, it'll come off as well.
That's a great tip. to lick it off the chocolate.
Gotta have lips.
You just do it till it sort of starts to ball together in the bottom of the mixer, and then you're going to do the rest by hand, really. Yeah, I'll get that out. Here we go. Right, Ives, you can get in there with your little fingers and just work it into a sort of cohesive dough. Do you know what cohesive is? Yeah. Okay. All together. How's it going? Good. I mean, you guys have been known to eat gingerbread dough raw. Do you want me to have a go? See, it's come together. Gingerbread dough is easier to work with when it's cold, but it will roll perfectly well like this. It'll just be a bit more puffy when you cook it. So that's what you've got now, the gingerbread dough stuck together. So in a normal world, I would put this in the fridge for half an hour just to chill a bit more, but you know, you can roll it from that now. You might just need a bit more flour. You're right, Ives. Okay, let's a little tidy up. Dottie, got quite a bit of golden syrup everywhere. Okay, girls. Right, flour that surface. Here. The flour is there. Let's move that out of the way. Yeah, sprinkle the flour all over this. And then we're going to roll.
Wait, chopping board?
Yeah. Good. Yep. Perfect. Right. So I've got some in the fridge that I've had from today, and more that we've made. Obviously, this will roll perfectly well without refrigeration, but it will be a bit more difficult and sticky. So we're going to do, in the interest of making this look completely bomb-proof, we're going to use the cold one, but you don't have to, and you've got time on your side. So let's start that. Turning it over. Do you want to have a go? So you want to get it nice and even, so you want to do your pressure nice and even. Yeah, let's turn it over. That is definitely not even, but that's fine. Ivy, have a go now. Bit more flour. Yeah, tiny bit thinner. Keep flipping it over. That's right, Pepper. keep going, keep going, keep going. Nice and even, you want it. Shall I have a go? And then you can start cutting out robins, Dot.
Yeah.
You can see how quick
Where's
this
the
is.
cutter?
It's here done. So right, you know, throughout Christmas, it's just a good dough to have in the fridge. Last year we were pretty good. We made a gingerbread house, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
And stuck it together with
Icing.
icing sugar, and it was brilliant, really. And you just have to. The trick to making a gingerbread house is to just do it a bit thinner so it's extra rigid. I think that's perfect, sweetie. Right, now the thing with cutting, you need to make sure that you use the space wisely, don't you? Ivy, if she cuts them out, you can use this funny little thing. So we're just using this round thing to cut the robin's breast out. If Dot cuts the robins out and puts them nicely there, that's perfect, Dot. Then you can punch it out. You need to leave a bit of a space for the bit where we're going to put the ribbon. So, but you need to make sure that there's enough of a border so you don't crack. So that is pretty much perfect. That's what you're going for. If you don't have a robin, you know, mice, stars, ballerinas, you know, do what you need to do. This could be the nutcracker. Keep going with that, Dot. And then you're going to need 2 holes in the robin. One for the breast, which we're going to fill with crushed boiled sweets, and then one we're going to put a hole in so we can put ribbon through it. And we can either tie them as little garland, or you can put little individual ribbons on it and hang them on the Christmas tree. We've had equal success, but they never last that long in this house, let's be honest. That's brilliant. So so what you're going to do there as well with this, let's show, you're going to put that. So what we're going for is this. We're going to fill this with crushed sweets for the robin redbreast, and then we're going to put this, a ribbon, and then we're going to have a little eye that's going to be a currant with icing. So make sure that's really imprinted that so it doesn't pop out, sweetie. These are brilliant. It's like a little factory line of robins. So I will do some sweets, crush some sweets. So we've got a very heavy pestle and mortar. We've got these little glacier like sweets, I suppose, boiled sweets. Red is obviously the best option. Ed, can you just
Crush that.
pardon?
Crush them.
No, you keep doing that, darling. Then we've got a little
This one's red. Production line. This one's red.
perfect. Well, that's an orange one. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You know, if it's orange or red or purple, if we bash them all up, it's going to be a nice dark colour, isn't it? I think these are all also red, I don't know. These are
They're
pink.
pink and purple.
Robin pink breast, robin
Purple.
purple breast. Right. Crush these to a dust. Brilliant, girls. Absolutely perfect. You can, you can cook the little bits that you chop out as well. They just got little mini biscuits. Waste not, want not. There's sweets flying.
Claire, we've just got a question here, which is, could you chop the sweets in a food processor or in a bag with a rolling pin? Just as some, we've got Claire here, who doesn't have a pestle and mortar. I think lots of people do.
Yeah, you definitely can. In a bag, sealed bag with a rolling pin's good. I just can't be bothered to wash the food processor out again and then use it again. So I'm just making a little dust that looks really beautiful, actually. Right, and then the trick to making these really neat.
You got some sweets. Yeah.
What?
You got some sweets.
Is to get that into a dust. I don't know if you can see, like that. That is about 3 sweets worth. Yes, girls? And then the trick to making these really neat is you kind of need a really small spoon, not for being too fastidious or anything, but just so you could sort of drop the right amount of sweet into the hole of the robin. I will show you what I'm doing now. Let's have a quick look. Can you see that? So within the hole that Ivy's beautifully punching out, we're covering that hole with a sort of sweet dust. And we're making sure that the eyes have got enough of a big enough so that we can put some thread through that. They are, no,
The eyes.
They're the bits where we're going to thread the ribbon. So just make sure they're like that, Ivy. Can you see, sweetie? Can you go through and do those a bit bigger? Just so we can make sure that we can thread, because threading is a bit of a hard job, isn't it? Dot, you can take some of these into your school tomorrow.
Yes.
You could give some to your teacher, couldn't you? If we did enough, we could do a little garland that you could hang up in the classroom. They're quite sweet. They last about 3 or 4 days before the sweet stuff gets too sort of filled with moisture and can get a bit tacky. But, you know, they're fine for 2 or 3 days, fine. How we doing? Should we do those now? Should we put them in the oven? Or do you want to do more?
I'll do like I think just these ones and then
Brilliant.
I wouldn't do all of them.
And you know what? The dough, this excess dough is perfectly fine to just put back with the other dough and use it again, re-roll it, just needs a bit more flour. This is fine in the fridge for about 4 or 5 days. It's pretty bomb-proof, really. It might discolour if you go a bit older than that, but I've still baked with it after a week, this stuff. So any offcuts, just put them back with the dough and bang it back in the fridge. How are we doing, girls? Jotty, do you want to fill this with the?
And we've got a great question here, Claire.
Yeah.
We've got Alexandra asking if you haven't got a robin cutter, might you get away with raiding your Easter chick cutter? And actually, that's exactly what I've done. Oh, can you see?
Absolutely will.
An Easter chick, girls. Do you think that looks like a robin? Is that robin-y enough?
Poetic license, something.
Yeah. It's the Christmas chick.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, we've got a ballerina, which would be quite lovely too if you put these on the tree for like the nutcracker, or a mouse, or stars. You know what we're trying to do is fill a sort of stained glass pocket within the biscuit. So whatever cutter you've got, that is quite a lot of sweets going in that lined up, but that's good. And then, ready? I've got the oven on 180, by the way. Yeah. Try and keep it in the whole bit, darling. But
idea. Yeah, look, you could just do circles with a little bit on top to make Christmas baubles.
Yeah.
Actually, great. It's so delicious.
I have 2 little helpers, so we're extra speedy, but we're ready to go in the oven. Right, fingers. Do you want to give them a bit of a rinse? Stop. I've got like golden syrup sweets. These children haven't had their supper yet, so that's going to be interesting. Okay, so we're going in the oven with these, which I'm going 7 minutes. Yeah?
Just checking, Claire. We've got Clifford just asking what was used to cut out the little circles for the robin breasts.
Anything you've got that's round that will fit the dimension of your cookie cutter. This is actually a turkey baster thing that I've just pulled apart to have something round. And the bits that we put in for the thread, I've just used a straw. And then to get it out each time, I've made the children blow on it and it just pops out the little bit, the sort of plug.
Genius.
You know, you don't have to buy special things to make these, but it does help if you have a robin. Right, in there, 7 minutes. Girls, let me just put a timer on my phone. And then I'm going 7 minutes. They don't take very long because they're quite thin. We've rolled them, so 7 minutes on that. And then what we thought we'd do while they're in the oven is we can either decorate the ones we've made earlier, or we can have a go at these little chocolate marzipan things and show people because it's so easy. Do you want to do that? Okay, let's do that. So, just as a little extra, which you don't have the recipe for, but just to show you how easy it is, it doesn't really even need a recipe. We've got marzipan, which has a use beyond covering the Christmas cake in my house because I love it. And you do too, don't you?
I've got flour on my sleeve.
Yeah, there's a lot of flour on your sleeve. So I've got some marzipan, and then we've got some dates. So we made these at the weekend, and they were brilliant because in the fridge they were just over several days we just had them like a little sort of Petit Fours at the end of the meal. We've had we're gearing up for Christmas, so there's no holds barred with treats really. So take your date, take the stone out. Can you do that, darlings? make sure you hear that little top bit off.
Rip them apart. This is hard.
Don't try not to rip them apart, just to do that and then get the stone out like that.
I'm trying.
Sorry, I have to. So this is just a little extra thing I wanted to show you while the biscuits are in the oven because they're really easy. We'll just do that many. Perfect. Right, then you've got some marzipan. So I just, marzipan is such delicious stuff, and it definitely, I think, has a lifeline beyond the Christmas cake. Just put it there, darling. It's fine. So you're getting a little bit of marzipan. You're getting your date, which you've got stoned. Then you're sticking the marzipan in there. That's it. Sticking it back together again.
Mine isn't really sticking back.
Spice. I've got a nutmeg grater
Mine
here.
isn't really sticking back together.
You can stick it back together. You just make it like a jigsaw. I'm just going to put a bit of nutmeg, just as a little spice. You could use cinnamon. You could use whatever you like. That's perfect. I've got an orange. We could use lemon, clementine, mandarin, whatever. A bit of orange. Use the top there, darling. Then you're just making these little petit fours, really. And then over here, we've got some melted chocolate.
Oh, Claire, we've just got a suggestion from Kay saying that she's used dried prunes instead of dates for this.
Yeah, brilliant. Figs would work too.
Oh, yummy. Oh, and Catherine's just asking what the oven temperature is for the biscuits.
180.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we've got this little date. We're just showing you these little petit fours. You're going to put them in there. That's loads of orange dot.
No, none's come out. Let me just do this. Look.
I've got, like they do on Bake Off, a sort of metal grill over a plate here.
And then scoop it up.
And then you're just going to dip this in there, covering the date with the chocolate. You can have a go. And then I've got some pistachios, which I've just bashed up really. And I'm going to sprinkle those on like that. You can do one cup. And a bit of sea salt, like crunchy salt on top too. And these are delicious. So you're going to get that. That's perfect, Ivy. It's beautiful. Then you're going to put the pistachio, pinch of salt. And you're just going to have it. You can put them in the fridge and then get them out at the end of the meal. And they're like little tiny truffles, petit fours, whatever you like, really. You can see that my children can make them. So they are very easy, but they look quite impressive.
How do I get it out?
So you just roll it around like that.
Scoop it and put it on.
And then you do it on the grill, so there's no, so it's sort of suspended really, rather than stuck to the plate with the chocolate. Pinch salt and chocolate is just delicious. Brings out the sweetness, flatters at no end really. If you don't have pistachios, you could do almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts, whatever you like. We've used 60% dark chocolate, but you could use milk chocolate. They just, oh, did you use?
It's fine. 5-second rule.
So pop these in the fridge, and I don't know if you can see, they're like that. They look like truffles, and they're delicious, really.
Mum, how long do you keep them in the fridge?
Oh, they'll last indefinitely, darling. Marzipan is pretty bomb-proof. I've got the golden one. You can use white marzipan. I just love baking with marzipan. I also like putting it in cake batters, and then as the cake cooks, the sort of marzipan melts and gives a sort of different form to that bit of the cake batter. That's perfect, Dot. I really like it as a flavour, and it sweetens things, and it's just, I don't understand why people just think of it as putting it on Christmas cake. It's delicious. Right, let me check the biscuits. They've got, how are we doing? Right, we good?
That was mine.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Bit more done. Did you put salt on yours, Dottie?
Yeah, I did.
Perfect. Right, tidy.
We need another proof.
Right, we're going to decorate our robins now, girls. How are you going on that one, Ives?
Yeah, this is going to be the most.
You could make these for teachers' presents, you know. Obviously, nuts in schools is a worry, but if you're making them for your teachers, it's fine. And a bit of sprinkle of salt. They look really elegant, and you know you can absolutely use figs or dates or prunes, whatever you like. Let's put those over there. Right, girls, should we do a little? That is a lot of chocolate. We can also
use
reuse.
it on the robins.
We could use it on the robins, but we're not going to. Right, now we've got some robins, which we made earlier, which we can. I've just been to shop and bought lots of ribbon for wrapping gifts and stuff. But, you know, my thinking is that you could tie these ones that we made earlier.
The icing sugar stuff.
Yeah, get the icing sugar stuff. And you could make little threads on them and then tie it onto a garland, and you could sort of hang it up, or you can wrap it around a Christmas tree, or you can hang them individually on your Christmas tree. They're perfect.
There's some more string.
Right, girls. So we're going to make a little icing.
Can I?
There's one in there, darling.
Can I make some sugar?
You can cut some threads for these, sweetie. So I don't know what time are we on, Xanthi? I've lost track of how long we've got. A lot more, darling.
Hey, I can't get out. It's hard.
There's a lot of mess going on now.
You're doing brilliantly, Claire. We've got another 20 minutes or so, just under 20 minutes.
Perfect.
So it's
Right,
all
so-
good.
They've got a timer, sweetie.
I love this idea from one of the people watching. Oh, here we go, from JS, who said that he would roll the dates in marzipan and then dust the outside with cocoa, and they look like new potatoes, which I think is really cool. I love that.
We should definitely do that with Jersey Royal season. You know,
It needs
Absolutely.
It needs more hot water.
it's all right. Not hot water, darling. That's perfect. Right, we've got we're on 7 minutes and we've got our robins out. Let me just give you some more water, just a dribble. The thing with icing, Dottie, is as soon as you add too much water, then you have to start adding more and more icing sugar. So it's best to be really cautious. So you want the thick, drizzling consistency. I think that's perfect now. Keep mixing. So we've got very hot biscuits out of the oven. Don't know if you see.
It needs a tiny bit more. It's like.
Yeah, a bit more. Right, stop. There we go. Let's go just a tiny bit more like that. Right, let me have a go. I think we've gone too much water now. See, a little bit more icing.
Oh, that's too much.
Ivy, could you cut some of this thread, darling? And then we'll tie those threads.
Oh, it's perfect.
That is perfect. Right, so we've got some robins that I baked off this afternoon when the kids got home from school. But these ones will be ready to do they're cool in no time at all, really. You just need to leave them on the tray for at least sort of 5 minutes before you move them, because the molten sweet is very hot and obviously could burn you. And we are baking with children after all. Right, Dot, last time we did this, we had some very funny looking robin's eyes.
Yeah, no, but I like the one that had the big eye. It was cute.
So what you're going to do is you've got drizzling consistency, and you just want a spot of that.
That's too much.
Yeah.
You told me off for doing bad eyes, and then you do one yourself.
There we go. Pop him in like that. Tiny bit. So we'll use even smaller. Here you go, darling. 2 spoons. Yeah, that's perfect, guys. You're much more elegant than me doing it. Stick a currant. We've got currants, but if you haven't got currants, raisins, sultanas, you know, we're going for decorating with children. We're not being too fastidious.
Oh,
Perfect. He's got a little eyebrow, that one. Ivy's is, of course, perfect. Josh, that's perfect.
oh, perfect. But I put too much little ice in.
So we've got a perfect robin coming up.
And
here.
this is Dot's one.
This one's got an eyebrow going on. I quite like his eyebrow. It looks like Father Christmas.
Okay, give me currant.
They're there.
I need
We've got lots of currants. So now I've got lots of little threads. You know,
That is perfect.
that is perfect. So I've got lots of nice threads because we're going to try as hard as we can to have a sellotape-free Christmas, and wrap
Currant.
presents with threads and ribbons instead.
His eyes
Aren't we,
too low
girls?
down.
That's going to be our.
This one's eyes too low.
I like him. He looks nice.
The
I think
hand
a
was
character.
one bit.
I think it's got character, that one. So we've got.
All of Dot's ones have
I-
character.
you
Really?
can put
Look
little-
at that one. That
And
one's
then, Ives, you're good at tying things. So we've got the first one here. Can you see? And my thinking is you can hang them on the Christmas tree like that, or get some lovely ribbon and then do a garland. And you could, you know, class parties and whatnot for your children, if they're still young enough to have class parties, you could put 30 on a garland and take a sort of garland of robins in, which is rather nice.
He's got 2 eyeballs.
I like his 2 eyeballs. I think he looks attractive. Yeah, it's good. And this is, of all the things to do with children, this puts you in the mood for Christmas, I think. And they look lovely.
I love the idea of a garland for the whole class. That's absolutely brilliant. Sounds
yeah.
Good.
There's just so much packaging and all that extra snacks and treats and sweets and stuff, isn't there? And if we can just try and reduce that a bit, that would be good. So, but you know what? Kids love that. So I think if you were the one that rocked up with a garland of robins to take into your class party, you'd look great. This guy's got an enormous eyeball. Yeah,
it looks great to me. Very good question from GT saying, do you need to line the tray with non-stick paper using baking parchment?
But I use greaseproof paper. It's my best friend. Greaseproof paper. It's just brilliant. I put it on everything. Yeah,
perfect.
I'm going to try and make this one perfect.
Okay. What I would like to encourage people to do with these is to, like, it's called gingerbread, but use your favourite spice. And I like salted butter because I like salt in sweet things. But if you don't want to use salted butter, use unsalted butter. And play around with the spices, and then just make double the recipe if you like. Have it in the fridge, and just 7 minutes to cook a biscuit. Oh, that is a perfect one. If you're doing that in 7 minutes, you can do that almost in the morning when you're making packed lunches. I know I'm a chef and I can rattle through things like that quickly, but I think it's a really good dough, really. So that is a perfect one, Dottie, as well, isn't it?
I'm gonna make it perfect.
So let me have a go with making them into a little. We've got our other ones. My thinking with this ribbon, girls, is like this. This is really nice ribbon. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about where I got it all from, but it's not expensive. Right. And then my thinking is to have like this.
He's not looking down.
He's looking down. He looks a bit sad.
Okay, does he look happier?
No, make him have his eyes go up a bit more. So where's the other one that we've tied a thing on here?
Oh.
This is what my thinking is for the garland. It's really cool, and they last. Well, I don't think you can. I don't think kids keep these because they just eat them straight away. But you would be able to last about 3 days with that.
It's got like a proper eyebrow.
Have we lost?
This one's got like a proper. This one's got like a proper.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a garland of robins for Dot's class party, like that. I just want to show you the other ones. Hold on. So these are cool enough now. And they look like that. So I just wish you could smell it in the kitchen. I don't know how many people are making these as they go along. But they're perfect.
You see?
What do you think? Which is your favourite?
Oh, I don't really have a favourite.
Let me see. Right. Keep going, rolling those. Lovely.
Wait, can I decorate one of these?
Yeah, of course you can.
I want you to.
So we've got these are now.
Oh, fantastic. And we've actually got Alexandra saying that the eco ideas are brilliant. And you could use like leftover sweet wrappers to make little bows for the robins or to decorate your presents.
Yeah, you've got these. That's a brilliant idea. Yes, you could do, and you could stick it on with the icing as well. That's a great idea. So, I mean, I do think it is a bit of a thing we all need to sort of address, isn't it? So less packaging, less sellotape, less stuff at Christmas. And in my experience, I've got 3 children and have had a few Christmases with children now. Kids love putting themselves in the Christmas spirit and doing stuff like this, and it's just really engaging and a nice thing to do, really, in the evening. So there we have got a sweet wrapper bow.
Have you got any other ideas of like Christmas dinner, things that you can get the kids helping with? Ivy and Dot, do you help with Christmas dinner at all?
I've been quite keen on opening presents in the morning at Christmas Day. No, we do our Christmas. We do Father Christmas comes, and then in the afternoon after lunch we have our presents. So we all go for a big walk. We go to the countryside to my mum's house in Shropshire, and then we all do mucking a bit. So you might get the kids. I had you guys doing the angels on horsebacks last year. You know, with the prunes wrapped in bacon. Dottie and my older child is both vegetarian, so pescatarian. Yes, so we'll be doing something. I think I'll be doing a big sort of nut roast for the pescatarian vegetarians, and I'm going to do rib of beef. But I think absolutely get them involved cooking, and you know, everyone helps. It's all hands to deck, really, and that's what's lovely about Christmas. You have the time to do that as a family. Look at this, Ivy. Ivy's doing it differently to how I did it. She's even better than me. She's not tying it on with the ribbon. She's just going for it on the one piece of thread, which is perfect, Ivy. But Christmas is about stopping, isn't it? Your usual routine and having a bit of, you know, time to do that together. And the daughters of two chefs, they do spend quite a lot of time in the kitchen with me. But you know what I want. That's fine. What I wanted to show is basically they could have done this without my help completely. Even putting it in the oven, whatever, you know, it's very easy. He's sweet.
They are looking amazing, Claire. And if you're going to wrap them up and give them to people as presents, what would you wrap them in?
A nice little box, you know, any nice cardboard boxes, or
in an airtight box, or
I would do it in an airtight box. But if people are going to eat them, it
doesn't really matter.
No, I mean, you can get lovely. Can I mention shops and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like Tiger do these brilliant little cardboard boxes that are like £3 for £1 and stuff. You could go and get a load of those and then do little boxes of them and stuff. This is where I got all these lovely ribbon from, and all these gold thread ribbons. So I went there, and it's like, you know, £1 or something for yes, I will. So I would do it as a gift in a box, or I would do a garland and then put the whole garland in a box.
Wonderful. Claire, this has been completely fantastic. Thank you for showing us your robins. They're looking good. And Ivy and Dot, thank you. I'm very envious. Anytime you want to come and help out in my kitchen, come on down. You are obviously, you know, completely seasoned kitchen professionals. So that's absolutely fantastic. And thank you, everybody who's been watching, and for all your brilliant questions. And I hope you've all enjoyed our Christmas Made Easy series and have taken away lots of ideas for the festive season. From all of us at the Telegraph, we'd like to wish you a very happy Christmas.
Yes, happy Christmas.
And we'll see you again soon.
Bye. Bye.